Hi guys, greetings of the day. This is Monish, one of the technical trainer here in Network Assume. And today I'm going with the topic of email protocols. See guys, I believe day-to-day life you guys are using the email, right? You are using Gmail account. Maybe if you guys are working professionals, maybe you might have gotten your own email account with your own domain and everything, right? So every day you are sending email, you are receiving email, maybe you are sending hundreds of email, maybe you are receiving hundreds of email. So what kind of protocols are being used during this particular process? Okay, so mainly there are three protocols, which is SMTP, POP3 and IMAP. Okay, so these are the three protocols that are used for sending and receiving the mail. You cannot say that all three protocols are used for sending and all three protocols are used for receiving. No, that's not right. Okay, see, if you come over here, let me show you. Today we'll go with the theoretical part. So this will be our part one. Okay, and then when we go with the practical, you will get to know clearly like how everything is working on. Even we'll capture the packet and see for receiving and for sending the mails what kind of protocols are being used. Okay, so mainly we are going currently with the SMTP protocol. So what is SMTP? SMTP transfers the mail from sender's mail server to the receiver's mail server. While sending the mail, SMTP use two times. See guys, first of all, let's consider this is your PC. Okay, you are using some email clients like Gmail, or you might be using a Microsoft Outlook or Thunderbird. It's your choice. Now this is your PC or your mobile phone, whatever it is. Then if you're trying to send a mail, if you are sending a mail, okay, you will have your mail server. During while sending the mail, it is called as sender's mail server. So this will be your server, sender's mail server. Okay, so when you try to send a mail, you're also connected to the ISP, right? Internet is present over. Without internet you cannot send the mail as of now, right? So on the other end you have your friend. Let's consider this is you and your friend is somewhere else. Let's consider he is in Dubai. Okay, you are in Bangalore and he is in Dubai and you want to send a mail to your friend. Consider this is your friend. Clear? You both are using Gmail server, or let's consider you are using some domain called as, for example, abc.com, and he has his own domain that is xyz.com. Okay, so your name is, let's consider as Bob. That means your email is bob@abc.com, and your friend's name is, let's consider Alice, and his full email is alice@xyz.com. Okay, so when you use any of the client like Microsoft Outlook or Gmail or whatever it is, you will have from address and you will have to address, correct? So on the from address, it will be mentioned as bob@abc.com, and on the to address, it will be mentioned as alice@xyz.com, right? So this is how you are going to send the mail. From and to address are mandatory, correct? So now when you try to send any kind of mail, what happens is your mail will go to your mail server. So this is your sender's mail server. That means your mail server. When you are receiving, it's called as receiver's mail server. When you are sending, it is called as sender's mail server. So first your mail will go to the mail server. There are multiple DNS records like MX record for mail exchange, okay, pointer record to point out. All these things are present. So based on the domain name and everything, what happens is this mail will go and reach the ISP. From the ISP, it will be received on the receiver's mail server, which is on your friend's mail server, and then he will receive the mail. But what protocols are used during this particular sending, right? There are two things you have to keep in mind. While sending, you will use one set of protocol. While sending the mail, you will use SMTP, guys. SMTP. While receiving the mail, you can use either POP3 or you can use IMAP. It's left to you. It is left to you people, like what you want to choose, what kind of protocols you want to choose. For example, if I come over here, this is my Gmail account. All right. See here, we have an option POP and IMAP. Right, we can either use any one of these to download. So what are the difference? What kind of port numbers they are using? Okay, even SMTP also, what kind of port numbers they are using? We will see everything. But in general terms, understand, first of all, when you want to send any kind of mail, first your mail will go to the sender's mail server. So during this time, it's going to use SMTP protocol. So here you are going to use SMTP protocol while sending. And also from your mail server, it needs to be sent to over the ISP to your sender's mail server. I mean, to your receiver's mail server, correct? So on this case also, from sender's mail server to the receiver mail server, during this time also, you are going to use SMTP protocol. So while sending the mail, you are going to use the SMTP protocol. Now the receiver has received the mail. The receiver server has received the mail. Receiver's mail server has received the mail. Now you have to retrieve the mails from your mail server. So to retrieve the mails, you are going to use either IMAP or POP3. Okay, so this is how the flow is. So while sending, you're going to use SMTP from your PC to your sender's mail server, and from sender's mail server to the receiver mail server, you're going to use SMTP. And on the receiver side, to retrieve the mails from his mail server, he is going to use POP3 or IMAP. So how these protocols works and everything we will see. Okay, all right. So here, while sending the mail, SMTP is used 2 times between the sender and the sender's mail server, between the sender's mail server and the receiver's mail server. So this is the sender, this is you are sending a mail. So first the mail will go to your mail server, so SMTP, and then over the internet, while going from sender's mail server to the receiver mail server, you are also going to use the SMTP protocol only. Okay, but what is the port number? What kind of protocol will your SMTP use? Let's see all this. Okay, so SMTP uses 4 port numbers, guys. It's not only one port number. See, majority of the time you might have seen like Telnet, SSH, all these uses the port number, single port number, right? But DNS uses single port number 53, but uses both TCP and UDP, right? So there are variations depending upon the port numbers and all. For example, you have FTP, which uses 2 port number, which is 20 and 21, correct? So in the same way, you have SMTP. In SMTP, you have 4 port numbers. One is 25. One is 465, 587, or 2525. So how can you choose the right SMTP port number? But currently, if you guys are sending any kind of mail, by default, it's going to use 587 as the port number. But still, we have other port numbers. Let's see what port numbers are used for what kind of transfer. Okay, so what is SMTP? SMTP is a set of communication guidelines that allow you to transmit an email over the internet. It is a program used for sending a message to other computer users based on email addresses. Okay, so let's look at what port 25 is. See, this is the default SMTP non-encrypted port number, guys. Now, currently, we don't use any kind of non-encrypted port number, but sometimes, for example, if you take a look over here, right? See, let's consider your mail server is in your area itself or in your zone itself. Okay, it's in your local area itself. Consider you are in the same subnet or something like that. Okay, let's take an example. During that time, your own network is secure, correct? When already your network is secure, why do you need to send the mail in an encrypted format? Correct. But over the ISP, if you want to send, you want the mails to be encrypted, correct? So during this time, you can use port number 25. But while sending over the internet, you can use the encrypted port numbers like such as port number 465 and 587. So let's see. See, this is the default SMTP non-encrypted port number. Then you have port number 2525. See, this port is kind of like a custom port, when kind of like an alternate port, you can say. This port is opened on all SiteGround servers in case port 25 is filtered by your ISP, for example. Okay, and you want to send a non-encrypted. Now let's consider from the ISP side, maybe the port number 25 is blocked or non-encrypted port is blocked, but still you want to send a non-encrypted emails. If that is the case, then you might need to use the port number 2525. Okay, then later as we wanted more security and everything, then port number 465 was introduced. This is the port used if you want to send the message using SMTP security. Yes, when you are using port number 465, we had the encryption and everything, but it was not that advanced, guys. All right. So the improvement of 465 port number you can consider 587. This is the default mail submission port. When an email client or outgoing server is submitting an email to be routed by a proper mail server, it should always use SMTP port number 587 as the default port. Now, no matter what, when you are sending a mail currently, right? Even though you are in the same subnet, if your server is in the same subnet or not, it doesn't matter. It's going to use port number 587 by default. It's going to use the port number 587. Okay, this is only while sending the mail I'm not talking about the receiving the mail. Okay, so here you have TLS encryption and everything. All right, and you can even, it follows the guidelines of the IETF as well. All right, so this is all about the SMTP. Later we will see, we will do the configuration as well, and then we will observe like how the things are currently working out. Then what protocols are you using while receiving the mail then? Correct. Now let's consider I have used port number 587 because it is the default mail submission port number 587, and I have forwarded my mail, and my sender, my mail server has received the mail and it has forwarded to the receiver mail server. Okay, so while sending, I have already used the SMTP port number. Now the receiver, your friend, is supposed to download these mails, right? I mean, he has to receive these mails. See guys, one more thing you have to keep in mind. Whenever you send a mail, it's not that it will pop up immediately on your screen, right? Actually, with these protocols, there are some request and response going on. It will keep on asking the server. Your PC will keep on asking your mail server, do I have any mail or something like that. So we will see those response codes and everything. Okay. So now I want to receive the mail. So I have a choice either to use POP3 or IMAP. So let's see what is POP3. Post Office Protocol version 3 is a standard mail protocol used to receive emails from the remote server to a local email client. So protocols used by clients like Outlook and Thunderbird. See, as I told you, here you have an option. You can even enable POP3 or you can enable IMAP. See, access, this is our domain. Network is home mail from the other clients using IMAP, because here IMAP is by default, it's present. Okay, majority of the time IMAP is present, guys, but we will see what is the difference between IMAP and POP3, why IMAP is more advantageous compared to your POP3. We will see that also. So port number 110 and 995. So there are two port numbers in POP3 as well. 1110 is the default POP3 non-encrypted port number, and 995, this is the port number you need to use when connecting POP3 securely. That means in simple manner, this is an encrypted port number. This is a non-encrypted port number. Okay, then you have IMAP. So let's see IMAP. Internet Message Access Protocol is a mail protocol used for accessing email on a remote web server from a local client. IMAP and POP3. Here you will get the difference between the IMAP and POP3, guys. IMAP and POP3 are the two most commonly used internet mail protocols for retrieving the mails. That means to retrieve the mails from the mail server, you have to retrieve it. Okay, it's not simply, it will simply not pop up in your system. Okay, so while POP3 protocol assumes that your email is being accessed only from one application, IMAP allows simultaneous access by multiple clients. Now what is the difference over here? See guys, let's take an example. Okay, so this is you. Let's consider this is your mail server. Okay, and you are using one application, ABC application. Client. Consider client, just like you are a Thunderbird, Outlook, Gmail, right? Consider like that one kind of client you have to retrieve the mail from the mail server. Now you are using POP3. This is your machine, and also you have one more laptop where you have logged in. Okay. Now you have already downloaded the mails on this particular PC. Clear? That means the mails have been deleted, you can say. You can consider it in that way. Your mails will be retrieved completely from the mail server and will be downloaded over here. That means you'll be able to view only on this machine. Again, later, consider you are going somewhere else. You have a different machine. You are trying to log in and then you are trying to download. Got it? It will not be possible. While POP3 protocol assumes that your email is being accessed only from one application. That from only one application you can download. Then you have IMAP, where it will allows you the simultaneous access. Okay, simultaneous access means now currently we are all using IMAP. You are using it in a mobile phone. You are using different applications. Not only Google you are using Mozilla also. You are using different kind of browser as well, right? While using these browsers, you are still able to see your emails and all. So this is basically you can consider simultaneous access with multiple clients. This is why IMAP is more suitable for you if you're going to access your email from different locations, or if your messages are managed by multiple users. If you have multiple users and all, POP3 doesn't work out fine. Okay, so let's look at the IMAP port numbers as well. See, IMAP port numbers 143 and 993. Just like your POP3, you have two port numbers. 143 is the default non-encrypted port number to retrieve the mail, and port 993 is the default port number for your encrypted port number, you can say. Okay, so basically in SMTP you have four port numbers: 25, 465, 587 and 2525. And on POP3 you have two port numbers: 110, 995. And on IMAP you have two port numbers: 143 and 993. Okay, so you have to remember all these port numbers, guys. But basically, let me tell you, in general life, normally while sending, you are going to use the SMTP port number with the 587 as a port number, and while receiving the mail, you are going to use IMAP. And IMAP also, it depends, like yeah, if you have any email security devices in between or something, then during that time there is no necessity for you to use an encrypted port number and all. Simply unnecessarily packet encryption and all not required. Okay, if you're in the same network and everything, you can use a non-encrypted port number. Let's consider you are in a different location. If that is the case, if all the mails are going over the ISP and everything over a public network and all, during that time you need a encrypted port number. And also if you don't have any kind of email security devices, also then you need a encrypted port number. Okay, so guys, this is part one, just a brief of about all these protocols, SMTP, POP3 and IMAP. Still we have a long session to go. Okay, we will go with those things in the part two. Along with that, we will also see the practical. Okay, all those things we will see in the part two. And also we have SMTP commands, SMTP response codes. Okay, all right, guys. Then so that's it in part one. So you will see more interesting thing in the part two. Let's wait, guys. See you guys. Bye. Take care.